This came in over the internets today. This is a very big announcement. We saved this as something standalone in EP Live today, but it is an open letter from the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I want to read that to you right now. To our fans and friends, we fully support James Gunn. We were all shocked by his abrupt firing last week and have intentionally waited these 10 days to respond in order to think, pray, listen, and discuss. In that time, we've been encouraged by the outpouring of support from fans and members of the media who wish to see James reinstated as director of Volume 3, as well as discouraged by those so easily duped into believing the many outlandish conspiracy theories surrounding him. Being in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies has been a great honor in each of our lives. We cannot let this moment pass without expressing our love, support, and gratitude for James. We are not here to defend his jokes of many years ago, but rather to share our experience having spent many years together on set making Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. The character he has shown in the wake of his firing is consistent with the man he was every day on set, and his apology now and from years ago when first addressing these remarks, we believe is from the heart, a heart we all know, trust, and love. In casting each of us to help him tell the story of misfits who find redemption, he changed our lives forever. We believe the theme of redemption has never been more relevant than now. Each of us looks forward to working with our friend James again in the future. His story isn't over, not by a long shot. There is little due process in the court of public opinion. James is likely not the last good person to be put on trial. Given the growing political divide in this country, it's safe to say instances like this will continue, although we hope Americans from across the political spectrum can ease up on the character assassinations and stop weaponizing mob mentality. It is our hope that what has transpired can serve as an example for all of us to realize the enormous responsibility we have to ourselves and to each other regarding the use of our written words when we etch them in digital stone, that we, as a society, may learn from this experience, and in the future, we'll think twice before we decide what we want to express. And in so learning, perhaps can harness this capability to help and heal instead of hurting each other. Thank you for taking the time to read our words, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's signed by Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Zoe Saldana, Vin Diesel, Sean Gunn, Pom Clementieff, I don't know how to say the last name, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, and Michael Rooker. And this is extraordinary. I've never seen anything like this in the history of covering these many mediums that we do cover in EP. This is a direct response to what Disney has done with James Gunn. They fired him from the job and they publicly ostracized him from the Marvel family after being a pretty, important element in that universe and in each of these people's lives. It speaks volumes to me, and I think to fans everywhere, and even to the non-fans or the detractors out there, that all of them have banded together to say this. I think that they say this not just because of what it means for their careers or their movie, but they've made a friendship here, and I feel like it's an authentic thing, and they've honestly put themselves into the firing line by not to get fired, but to feel the heat and to have all kinds of people come up to them and tell them that they're apologists for what James Gunn has said and done in the past. I was offended by those comments too, and those jokes were ridiculous. I'm a parent, and I can't read that stuff and not think, what the hell are you thinking, man? So clearly written by somebody who is not a parent, a lot of those jokes. But I think that there is a tremendous merit in the idea that people can change and that there is growth that can happen. And I think that James Gunn is a very different human being today because of the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a life-changing event in all of these people's lives, as is elegantly illustrated in this letter. And people can be forgiven. And Disney had the fiduciary responsibility of not sort of being tainted by this controversy, and they're a family-friendly company. But as has been pointed out by many people, including Blake here, as we've talked offline about this whole event, if they start with James Gunn, they're going to have to go down line by line by line and go through everybody's backstories and everybody's tweets and every, personal messages, and then it's going to be text messages. And that level of scrutiny over artists who are, for the most part, just trying to find a way to have their voice and be heard, and they try different things and they throw a bunch of stuff up at the wall. And Disney has employed and continues to employ some somewhat controversial people. It makes their animated work, punchier. It makes their movies punchier, and it's been a big part of their success. They don't just always go for, kids or the safe choices for, people that are sort of in the Disney family over and over again. They reach out and they're inclusionary in their casting and in their hiring to make their products and their properties much more interesting. And James Gunn was made an example of, but it's also a scary example. And I just think it's remarkable and noble that these people have come to James Gunn's defense. And who knows what's going to happen. But if I was an executive at Disney and I read something like this, I think that the backlash will rise now that all of these cast members have said, look, this is crazy, we want our director back. If they don't hire him back, the weight of people being pissed off at that decision and the negative buzz that's going to come with the direction of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and honestly, I don't know what movie director takes that role now when you've got all these cast members asking for that other director to come back. It's kind of like crossing a picket line in a way, right? I mean, which director is going to go, yeah, let's go, Guardians, let's make Volume 3? I think they're going to be, I think Disney should listen to the people that are directly involved in making Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And honestly, I feel like if these people are in support of James Gunn, it really falls on Kevin Feige now to come out and make a statement. This is a guy that Kevin Feige hired. He handed him the keys to this property. He entrusted him with a lot, and James Gunn has been a producer element in other movies, including the Avengers Infinity War. He's an important part of all of this, and Kevin Feige is the man on top, and I feel like he should make a statement too, And Disney should decide what to do based on this letter and what Kevin Feige has to say. And I suspect that we're going to see James Gunn handed the directorial duties here. I feel like the backlash, if he doesn't, will be far worse financially and for the property and for the Marvel Universe, and it's going to forever sully this brand if they don't go back and just sort of weather the storm of the hate out there. But it's a very, very interesting time. And like I say, I've never seen anything like this outpouring of support for a creative individual out there. At first, I was a bit nervous that everybody was silent except for Dave Bautista. And, there was some sort of vague statements from Chris Pratt. And I think Zoe Saldana, was a little safe with what she had to say. But this is very, very to the point. And it's a big day. Very curious to hear what you all have to say. We are going to do a Let's Play and chat with No Man's Sky a little bit later in this episode. And so you can chime in there. Or if you watch this later as a separated video piece, let me know in the comments down below. But again, I feel like this is enough for me, if all of these very talented people at the top of their game, and a big part of it is because of the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, if they're all vouching for James Gunn, I want James Gunn back too. I want Disney to reverse its decision, but most importantly, I want to hear from Kevin Feige at this point, and I want them to band together and just weather the storm. And James Gunn has apologized. I'm sure he probably isn't done apologizing, but he should be the director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and he should be involved with these Marvel flicks.